going from a full-time, reliable role job, jumping into something that's not as reliable, 100% commission role, but you're one of the ones who did take that leap.
I was a nurse for like 4 years. I realized a couple years into it that I didn't want to just take the normal route, work for somebody for the rest of my life. Been able to hit the income level to replace my nursing income and feeling the confidence that I'll be able to continue doing so.
In the last 3 months, what was the biggest lesson that you had in order to get from like Hannah, who was just starting out, to like 5-figure a month Hannah? So excited for the interview, Hannah, because I think it's a very unique perspective, or at least not a unique, but a relatable perspective to where, at least unique compared to other people who are in sales.io, but relatable in the sense also where you're going from a full-time, reliable role job and jumping into something that's not as reliable, 100% commission role. But you're one of the ones who did take that leap. And so I want to know, because I'm genuinely curious, I don't even know, but like, talk to me about the transition from nursing to sales. Like, how did that whole transition from, going to school for 3, 4, 5, 6 years to then becoming a full-time sales rep? Like, how did that develop?
Good question. So I was a nurse for like 4 years, and I realized a couple years into it that I didn't want to just take the normal route, work for somebody for the rest of my life, work at a job where I'm not compensated for like my skills and the work that I'm putting in. So I had thought about different ways of like, how can I get into entrepreneurship or just a whole different world opposed to like healthcare, typical 9 to 5. I looked into like all the like MLMs, digital marketing type stuff, all of that online stuff, right? But ultimately I decided, okay, if anything, if I can learn sales, it's going to give me the skill set to be able to dive into the world of like entrepreneurship, something other than healthcare, typical 9 to 5. So I figured, why not just try this high ticket sales thing? Got into the space. Freaking terrifying to think of being commission only when you have that safety net of the paycheck. It's been a whole different mindset shift too, of like my identity being ingrained in nursing to now having that shift of like, that's not my whole identity. I don't need to feel guilty for wanting to do something else. But yeah, I think it just stemmed from a place of like, I know that I can have skills. I have skills within me, and I want to develop a skill set where I can use it to help other people, but also get compensated for what I put in. And the more that I work and develop my skill set, the more I'm compensated for it. And it's opened up opportunities that I never thought I would have. So
I almost want to jump to what those opportunities are, but before I do that, what was it that finally made you jump, right? Because you've been in the space 7 months, started working with us 3 months ago. So obviously, like, there was a break those first 4 months up until like the last 3 months. Like, what made you finally commit and be like, you know what, that's it, I need to go?
To going all in with sales?
Yeah.
Like quitting my nursing job?
Like, what was that final like breaking point where it's like, I'm cutting it off?
I think it was more so just like, I've been thinking about it for so long since getting into sales. It's been this like, what if type of thing. Like, I've been thinking about it. I've been trying to map out the plan for how I'm going to do it. I've talked to tons of people. I've talked to you about it. I've talked to a bunch of the mentors in the community about it. And so much just talking about it and thinking about it that it got to the point where I was like, now all that's left is to just do it. And I've gotten to a point where I have the confidence in my skills. Obviously, there's still so much work to be done, but confidence that I can land any role that I want, that I have the skills to make this work for myself. And a really big thing I've developed the last 3 months of being in sales.io specifically is like that intrinsic trust in myself. Like, that's been one of the biggest shifts for me, especially with working with all you guys. It's like developing the trust for myself and knowing that, okay, cool. even if I don't have this stable paycheck, this stable career, as a lot of people call it, I know I can figure it out. I have the skills to do it. I have the people backing me to do it. And I think that's what finally let me just flip the switch. And once I actually quit my job, it didn't even feel like any different because I had the mindset for it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Um, what did it take from like a tactical standpoint? Like almost like whether it was like matching the income you made or making a little bit more, like what was that deciding factor? 'Cause I'm sure it's like a little bit emotional, right? Where it's
Hmm.
like the mindset shift and having that confidence, or even like, even I'm sure even if you're making less, but that mindset shift does happen, you'd still make that jump. But how did you do it to a point where, because I guarantee you didn't do it with like, you felt like your back's against the wall, unless I'm wrong, but like, I just want to know what that looked like as well. Like, what did you decide? Like, okay, this is my foundation. I need to get to this point, and then I can decide to jump.
The big thing I think was the confidence in the current roles I'm in right now, knowing that I've been able to hit the income level to replace my nursing income and feeling the confidence that I'll be able to continue doing so. So yeah, hitting that amount in income with sales was my number one goal. So just being able to replace my nursing income was enough. All I needed to see to give me the confidence. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I can make thousands of dollars from a 1 hour phone call. And seeing that and knowing I have the skills to do that, like, gave me the
Yeah,
confidence.
yeah. I feel like that feeling, like knowing that, it's so funny because you think about 100% commission, and it's like scary instantly when the unknown of skill set and like how I'm gonna get there, how I'm gonna make that possible. Of course, it's scary, but when you have the confidence and conviction in your skill to be able to get to the point where like any conversation you're in, you can win and you can make money, like that's something that it's irreplaceable. I think it's like so invaluable.
Yeah,
But I
for
love that.
sure.
I love that. And so now, as far as jumping from nursing to now sales, what did you think you had to learn, whether it's from a mental perspective, like mindset, or like did you have to adjust to?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know it comes a lot of changes. And so
Mm-hmm.
what has that journey looked like, that adjustment?
Mm. Well, it's complete, completely different and not at the same time because, like you always say, like sales is in everything you do, every relationship, every form of communication. There's a lot from nursing that transferred over
Hmm.
of like being able to actively listen and communicate and empathy. All of these things helped a lot. The mindset part of it, when I first got into sales, it was like, okay, I'm selling. That was the mindset. Like, how do I sell this to this person? How do I make money from selling this to this person? Which was not the right mindset, you know? So the last few months I've really been developing the mindset of like, this is similar to nursing in the way that I'm just helping somebody solve a problem and genuinely like change their life through my communication with them, through figuring out what their actual problem is and guiding them to the solution. And I don't know if that even answers the question, honestly, but like,
It does.
yeah, it's like the mindset shift of like going from nursing to sales, but then also back to some of those things of like this all comes down to genuine human connection and not taking that away when you start getting into the space of selling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, no, I think I 100%. I get where you're coming from on that too. I think it kind of leads me to my next question anyway, where it's almost like the internal side and understanding like it's like not much different, but I do, like for example, like when you first started and I remember watching a call with you and how you were trying to sell, and I think it was like an e-com offer. I'm not even
Don't
so
talk
sure.
about the awesome
But
call.
I mean, like that's, yeah, like that, it's normal. We all say
Yep.
our favorite word on the call sometimes, and you're just, filler words or whatnot. But going, because in the last 3 months, I've seen you grow tremendously, and I think it's been awesome. And I mean, you're even on an offer that I used to be a sales director at, which is amazing. You're working with massive teams, massive people, send blue. So I think there's a lot that comes with that. But in the last 3 months, what was the biggest lesson that you had in order to get from like Hannah, who was just starting out, to like 5-figure a month, Hannah?
Hmm. There's been a few. Like one of the biggest ones, like I said, was like so much of this, I've learned so many tactical things from being in sales.io, like just general sales skills, like psychology behind selling. But a lot of it has been to just like the inner development. So like having that trust in myself, both to make decisions for myself, trusting that I can figure things out no matter what. But that also translated into like my sales calls. So
Mm-hmm.
I did learn, like starting out in sales, I learned to follow a script, like a framework. And so I learned what questions I need to ask in a call to run a sales call, but I didn't understand like why I was asking the questions, anything like that. And so I was just going through the motions in my sales calls before joining sales.io. And then, okay, I closed some deals, I made some money, but nothing consistent. But now that I've learned from all you guys, like, why am I asking these questions? Where am I actually trying to go with this? How do I dig deep and get to understand the person across from me so that I can actually help them? And then also just trusting that I don't need to follow this like strict framework of questions, trusting that I know how to communicate with a human effectively to one, get the sale, but also help them has been a huge, huge part of it for me.
Yeah. Was there a point where you and you're especially when you're balancing both that you were just like, I'm not so sure if this is gonna work out?
Yeah. The first few months of getting into sales, definitely. There's a lot of like self-doubt too, I think, when at least coming from my position, like coming into the space of being completely new to this kind of stuff. And then starting out not being the best at it, which like no one is, right? But there's kind of that lack of confidence there. And seeing that I wasn't getting to the point of like replacing my nursing income, I was like, oh, is this for me? There's really good days, there's really bad days, but then also understanding that this is like the ultimate personal development journey. And all of the setbacks and challenges not only are going to like help me get better at sales, but also just like develop myself more as a person was like a big mindset thing for me too. So yes, there were definitely times where I had that. Like seriously, joining sales.io helped tremendously with that. Like literally if I didn't gain anything from this but being surrounded by the people I need to be surrounded by to get here, I like that every bit was worth it for me. Just to be surrounded by you, by Cole, by Scott, Mark, even like all the great people I've met. It's I don't think I would have had that confidence to get to where I am now.
Mhm.
So that has been monumental too.
Well, thank you, number one. But number two, I'm curious because you sparked a question where when you were in that stage of doubt, and obviously even like prior to coming here, like what kept you going?
The cost of inaction. For real.
Actually,
I'm serious. So, no, thinking about okay, I've been in situations where I've tried things out before. Like I've looked into different ways of getting out of nursing and I've tried it. And I quit or gave up for whatever reason, whether it was, valid or not, but I told myself like I'm going to see this through to make it work. What keeps me going is that like I know I have so much potential in me and I know that I'm worth so much more than just working this job for the rest of my life. I've done it for 4 years now. I know that I don't want to continue doing this. And if I don't give my all into sales and learn this skill, like I told myself I would, if I don't keep going with it, then I will just be stuck doing what I've been doing the last 4 years for the rest of my life. And to me, that wasn't an option. Like
yeah,
the risk associated with going all in with sales outweighed the risk of staying in the same spot for the rest of my life, which I think is also has been helpful for me to be able to guide prospects through
yeah,
that
yeah.
mindset
No,
shift for sure.
that's huge. It comes with a massive level of conviction. Um, Last question. If you had to start over and you give yourself one piece of advice, and only one, what would it be?
Start over like getting into sales or
Like at the beginning of your journey, like the beginning of sales, like when you first started, and it's like innocent, brand new Hannah. I don't know why innocent's the first word that came to mind, but like a brand new, like toddler Hannah to sales. So what would you tell her?
mm, I think hmm, biggest piece of advice. I can't think of anything else seriously, but like to get into a community like I'm in now with Sales.io sooner, like right off the bat. Because at that time, doing that, like investing into something and taking this big leap of like fully committing to learning from all these people was like when I think back at it, that would have been terrifying. Like if someone told me to do that, I'd be like, that's a pretty big step. Let me just ease into it. But doing so is what facilitated the whole process of me actually getting to the point of making the change, like making the big jump of quitting my job, starting sales, and going all in. Because, like I said, the people around me, being surrounded by everybody that I have been the last 3 months, there's no way I could have not made that jump. Like, no one around me would let me. I wouldn't let myself because I told myself I was going to do this and I put myself in this situation. I invested into something that I believed in, that I knew could get me there, and I wasn't going to waste that. So, like, seriously, it maybe, sounds like obviously we're here for Sales.io, but like, regardless, like, put yourself in a position to succeed no matter what. Like, if you're going to do this, go all in with it. It's scary as hell, but like being in the environment where you have people to help you out, you have all the tools you need, then there's no reason that you can fail at it. And that fear of failure is like always going to be the thing that actually holds you back. Mm-hmm. So having the tools and people you need to help you get over that, even though it has to be internal, was huge for me. So if I would have done that at the beginning, I'd be a lot farther than I am now. However, I'm very happy with where I am right now. So
there you go.
Yeah.
She was not endorsed to say that, but a great way to close it out.
I know. You probably don't want me to say that, but like, seriously, that's all I have.
Well, I'll say this. Regardless of if you decide to go with us or decide to go with somebody else, get into a community. That's the entire
somewhere.
point.
Yeah.
So, Hannah, thank you for your time. You're the absolute best. She will beat you up. I promise you guys. It's you must have heard it. So don't say if you need to think about it and you're on a call with her, be careful. But
you won't need to think about it.